Barakallahu Wiz. MashaAllah. SubhanAllah. That's strong, right, Sheikh? Whoever that was. As-salam wa rahmatullah. Pass me those post-its, please, Tower. Back there. The sticky thingies. Tafadhal.
So, the beginning of student knowledge, and somebody who wants to get books, you know, to practice his Arabic, and things like a basic collection of books that somebody wants to wants to understand in the future. But it's kind of like, what kind of books would you recommend of hadith that are in Arabic for somebody who's not proficient yet in Arabic, but can inspires to learn Arabic? What kind of books should you recommend?
Clear. Question regarding learning Arabic. And what book should you buy that you aspire to read it, even if you can't read all of it or understand all of it? You're climbing the ladder, you're not fully there yet, but you want to push yourself.
No.
It's a tricky question because it's like, from one aspect, you don't need a library to do that. And from another aspect, you don't need to be selective in having any books that are suggested. And from another aspect, there are certain books. So in general, I would say just buy books, build a library. And when I was younger, when I was learning, after I learned Arabic, but I was like learning hadith and stuff, I would love to sleep in the library and sit in the library, whether it was in the masjid or wherever it was, and just be surrounded by books. And I would often reflect on my actions throughout the day, what I did, what I didn't do. And I would ask myself, what did you do today that's getting you closer to digging into these books? And if you don't do this and put in this amount of effort and work, these books are of no value to you. So just being around the books, wherever they're in, that to me, that just, yani, it spews off a type of energy that I used to feed off of, and I still do. But I'm talking about your question coming up. You see what I'm saying to you? So just being around the books to me just gives me a buzz, whatever the books are. Let alone I know this is a serious book here. This is a 30-volume book. This is Kevin. This is that. And you have to know that there are certain tools and things that you need that you have to get into those books. So that don't have to be on hadith. And I don't even have to be on the level that you're on. It could be something totally advanced, but something that's going to push you. All right? As far as a book or specific book that you can get into, I would say read Sahih Bukhari on a daily basis. And just go through the isnad. How well can you read an isnad? You see what I'm saying to you? And who do you know from the isnad? Who's Nafi'? Who's Ayyub? Who's Ismail? What's Ilmul Rijal? Science of Men, the narrators. That's something that pushes you to learn Arabic. And then the hadiths that we get into in class and break them down. Start reading them. Understanding certain words. Man taraka. He who leaves off. Man kada. Man tafutuhu. Al-asru. Fuck. You see what I'm saying to you? So Sahih Bukhari, Musnad Ahmad, these books like this. Have this book in your library. And every day just sit down and read it. And practice your reading. What's the rule on this? It's missing a few colors, but it's close enough. Allah hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Al-Muhim, you see what I'm saying to you? So I would say get yourself a nice set of Sahih Bukhari. Have the condensed volume, the condensed version of Kutub Sitta, and buy yourself 12 set of Sharh, or the 4 volumes, big volumes. You see what I'm saying to you? And just have it on your bed, have it on your library, have it with you. And just know that you can't get into this basic Sahih Bukhari unless you have some more tools. So you got to fidget and fumble though. You got to dig into it, read it. So, إنما قال الله عز وجل إن خفتم أن يفتنكم الذين كفروا. What does that mean? Inna or in. خفتم. خاف. خوف. You see what I'm saying to you? And that can be done with any book. It don't have to be a hadith book. But if you wanted to start off with a simple hadith book, then no doubt read inside Bukhari on a daily basis. And taking the words, writing down the words that you get, writing down, I mean, like basically, every day you should come to the masjid with a list of questions for me. What's this? I read this. How do I find this in the dictionary? What's the plural of this? Is this the same word that we learned in class? Kada, kada? And that's how, that pushes you to learn more Arabic because you want the juicy stuff. It's like eating your vegetables. You can't have the steak unless you what? Eat the vegetables, let alone the dessert. You want the dessert? Your Umi say you what? You gotta what? You gotta finish your piece. You see what I'm saying to you? So the juicy stuff, you have to get through it through discipline. Some brothers still don't like eating vegetables. Clear, Sheikh? That's my personal experience, advice on the situation. And Allah knows best.
Initials KWAM, Copenhagen, Denmark. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and us. Please clarify if zakat must be paid on a savings in a bank account intended for a purchase, for example, a house or inheritance to kids.
Questions regarding paying zakat on savings for an intended purpose, such as a house for your children, so on and so forth. Question comes from Copenhagen. At the end of the day, the ulama of Islam, they say, is that which does not pertain to your daily needs, your daily necessities, and it is put up for 12 months, and you own it, all of it, it must be purified with zakah. So I'm saving up for my son's marriage. I'm going to start saving now. 10 years. He's 10 years old. By the time he's 20, inshallah, I want him to be married. I'm going to start saving now. No matter how important it is for my son to get married, 10 years of me saving up that money, 2.5 must be paid. I'm saving up for my daughter's marriage. I'm gonna take care of her marriage. I'm saving up for my son's house. I'm saving up whatever you're saving for that is not of your daily necessity, you must pay zakat on. I'm saving up to go make hajj. I'm saving up to go seek ilm. Whatever you're saving for, you must do what? You must pay zakat. And if you don't pay zakat on it, it is hoard. It's a hoard. It's kens. And we all know the punishment of having a kens in the Quran and in the Sunnah. Alright? So therefore, you must pay zakat on whatever you're saving, no matter what or how specific the purpose may what? May be. And Allah knows best.
Initials AD.
Fadda. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
What are the signs of Muslim being corrupt, and how does he cure it?
Signs of a Muslim being corrupt, and how does he cure it? One sign of a Muslim being corrupt is that he doesn't think that he can become corrupt, or he doesn't think that he is corrupt, or he doesn't have any type of fear of corruption. That's definitely a sign. And if that's a sign, then him asking and fearing and being concerned is a sign that he isn't corrupt. And if he is corrupt, he's only but so corrupt, or there's some corruption in him. And a Muslim could be a good person and have corruption in him. Like the Prophet ﷺ said to Abu Dhar. He says, إِنَّكَ مْرُؤٌ فِيكَ جَاهِلِيَّةٌ. He says, you're a man who has some jahiliyyah in. And Abu Dhar was a mu'min without a question, from the best of the Sahaba, radiallahu anhu. But he said, because of something that he said and something that he did and how he behaved in an ignorant way, he said that you have a piece of jahiliyyah in you. But the fact is that if you fear corruption, that in itself is going to prevent you from total corruption. You understand? But it doesn't mean that you may not have a what? Hey, like a car. You look after your car. You put good gas in it. You make sure the tires, the gas, and so on and so forth. But it could be a leak. Could be something wrong. Could be something missing. Could be something broken. But your car cannot be in total state of trash if you do what? A general what? Concern. General concern. Not even maintenance. Just concern. Just what? Concern. I'm worried. What's that noise? What's that sound? I don't like that smell. This is not blinking enough. You see what I'm saying to you? So the concept of fearing it upon yourself is a sign that it isn't total corruption. As far as if there's some corruption, reality, no matter how conscious you are, then you have to sit down and look at it. What is causing me to fall into this fitna? Where's my weakness? Where's my strength? My weakness is regarding alcohol. I don't drink it every day, but every now and I drink it, and I'm tempted by it, and kata. So pinpoint your energy on alcohol, and learning about alcohol and how alcohol is evil, and looking at the outcome of alcohol, so on and so on and so forth. Or thinking about alcohol, but thinking about the alcohol in Jannah, which doesn't cause what? Drunkenness. It doesn't cause drunkenness, as if it's not even alcohol. You see what I'm saying to you? So pinpoint it, or it could be a fitna of nisa, women. Get married, lower your gaze, fast. Don't be such a flirt. Work on your charisma. You always have to talk. How you doing? This and that. People smile. Work on that. Seriously, pinpoint it. And Allah knows best. That's my answer for now. Yeah. Allah's name what? Be praised.
This was 80, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Can a woman wear large shawls and large dresses with a scarf on and still fulfill the conditions of hijab? Or does the hijab have to be like a combo of the Somali Jamaat?
The question comes from Minneapolis with regards to a woman wearing a very long shawl or a very long dress and a long khimar. Does it have to be in the traditional Somali style, or can she wear those other things and it still fulfills the conditions of the hijab? Al-Muhim is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has never legislated on us or put on us something rigid and restricted to one culture, one time, and one place. Specifically, Allah Azza wa Jal commanded us to do certain things. And if you look at the Quran and the Sunnah, you'll find that it's always, in most cases, flexible and open, as long as the main objective is what? Obtained. Everyone understand this? So when it comes to wearing a hijab, it doesn't have to be Somali or Saudi or Yemeni or Egyptian or Afghani. None of that is a condition. A condition is that it be covering of your body, and that it's loose, and that it's modest, and that it makes you distinct from that which you aren't supposed to be. Everyone understand this? So therefore, if a woman wears a very long dress and a very long shirt and a long khimar, the hijab, inshallah ta'ala, will be fulfilled. However, isn't it easier to just wear one piece? Or isn't it easier to wear the traditional clothing, which is totally fulfilling of the hijab? Isn't it easier and simpler? Can it get loose? If you say, well, I don't have to wear an abaya, I can wear a shirt and a skirt. And the next thing you know, it's this. And then this is in the laundry. And then kava. Isn't it easier to just keep the simplicity? It's much easier. It's like wearing a thobe for a man. I can wear an izar. My shirt isn't that short. My pants are long. My pants aren't that tight. No, it is. But it's not the same ease and convenience and simplicity of a what? Thobe. Crystal clear. You're known as a Muslim. You're seen as a Muslim. You don't have to worry about bending over, making ruku, making sujood. Is it tight? My izar, I've left it in the car because you're wearing a what? Thobe. So I would advise, for any Muslim sister, I would advise personally, never to just wear a shawl and a long khimar. I wouldn't advise with that. I wouldn't advise for a sister to as some sisters, they have, different types of hijabs that they wear that aren't actually the traditional what? Yeah. Hijabs. I wouldn't advise with that. I would advise to stick with the traditional hijab because of the ease and the simplicity of it. And the thoroughness what? Of it. I understand this? But that does not mean that I say that you must wear the Somali combo. The really, really, really long khimar and it has to fall. Nah, that's not condition. There is no specific dress code. There's no cultural dress code in the Quran and Sunnah. There's no cultural dress code in the Quran and the Sunnah. But there are principles mentioned in the what? Quran and Sunnah. The garment can't have on perfume. The garment cannot be tight. The garment cannot be transparent. The garment cannot. And the garment must. Once that's fulfilled, then what? Khalas. But that doesn't always necessarily mean that it's best to mix and match and pick and choose, because it can what? It can get loose and sloppy. Everyone understand this? It can get what? Loose and sloppy. So my daughters, my family members, my women folk, quote unquote, I would want them to just wear hijab. Whether it's one piece or two pieces. And Allah knows best.
Initials, Usama Abdul Rahman, London, UK. Sound like Mustaz. May Allah accept your good work. I'm the president of an MSA here in the UK. We have been giving many collections of books and as well as Quran. The books gather dust on the shelves and no one uses them. Is it permissible to give them away? What is the ruling on them? What do you recommend we do? Barakallahu feek.
The question is from UK, and it's basically someone who's the president of the MSA, and they're giving books as a donation, correct?
Yeah.
They're giving books, but the books are not being used. So can they now give those books out to someone else? Type. If the books are given as a donation of endowment, waqf, then they shouldn't be given out. They shouldn't be given out. Rather, you should try your best to, how can I say, rejuvenate the library, resurrect the library, give life to it, do a lecture, do a program, all right? Make it available to the people who are readers, even if they're only a few. Encourage the people to read, encourage the people to benefit from it, so on and so forth. Now, that's the best thing to do. The ulama of Islam have clearly mentioned the ruling on al-waqfu idha ta'attalat masalihu, an endowment which is now useless, an endowment which is now dilapidated and broken down. Can the building be knocked down? This person donated this building or donated this piece of land, but it's no longer good. It's no longer what? It's no longer good. It needs to be moved. The ulama have explained these rulings on rebuilding it or moving it, if it's a necessity of getting rid of it, whatever the case may be. The ulama of Islam, yeah, they've explained this. But I would advise not to go that far. I would advise to try your best to what? Polish it and shine it up. Inshallah, do a weekly lecture there, a monthly lecture. Make a live stream in the library. Everyone understand this? Make some type of event or program in which what? That will bring life to those books. Last but not least is, those books were donated. And obviously the one who donated the books, he wanted the people to benefit from the books. So if the books are of no use whatsoever, it doesn't mean that if you give them out, you're down infringing upon the donation or the gift. Because that's the whole purpose of the book being given. A building is one thing. Specific library for one place is one thing. But books, they're given for the purpose of what? Education. But once more, like the previous question, once you take the books out the library, you start giving them to people, so on and so forth, you're now what? It get loose again. Because the person who give the book, you give the book to may not what? Read the book. So it's easier to just what? Stick with what you have and to try to fix that. I understand the wisdom behind this, and Allah knows best. Initials and location. Abdul Wadud, AW, Hollis, Queens. Inshallah.
Yeah, what's the rule? Is there a hadith that mentions that Aisha mentioned that the first things was revealed in the Quran was the halal and haram, or making people avoid the people would drink more khamr. And then there hadith that also mentioned that if there was a verse refraining the people from committing zina, the people would commit more zina. And what's the ruling on this?
With regards to the legislation of alcohol, and with regards to the legislation of zina, if it was sent down that it was impermissible from the beginning,
The first verse.
the first verse,
Did more of it.
I don't know of this. I don't know of that. It's clearly established what the first verses were from the Quran to be revealed. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق يا أيها المدثر قم فأنذر. Clearly established. It's either one of those two, for sure. What? One of those two. That's first and foremost. Alright? As far as the legislation of khamr, and of course they went through 4 stages. As far as the legislation of zina, zina is always haram. There's no sharia in which zina is permissible. Evident. There's no sharia in which what? Shaykh Islam Taymiyyah mentioned. All legislatures have made zina haram. There's no, it was sent down, the people wouldn't lie. Evident. It's always haram. And as we mentioned in the khutbah a couple weeks ago, Uthman radiallahu anhu said that I have not made zina in Jahiliyyah or in what? Islam. And zina was looked down upon even in Jahiliyyah. One of the companions narrated, before he was a Muslim, that he saw a monkey, or baboon, who violated another's female. He forced himself, he made zina with another monkey, or female baboon. And he says the rest of the monkeys stoned it to death. They pelted it with stones until it died. So zina was always, no doubt about that.
No, what I heard was...
Next question.
R.A. Toronto, Canada. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti. What is the recommendation on joining a congregational prayer, a congregation praying Isha, even though you haven't prayed Maghrib? Some say you shouldn't mess up the order of the prayers.
Right. Join the Jama'ah. If you make Salatul Maghrib, they're making the Isha. Join the Jama'ah, if that's the actual Jama'ah. Not a Jama'ah. But if that's the Jama'ah, that it's time for the Iqamah is made, the Imam is reciting, then join in. And you make 3 rak'ah while they make 4. It's very simple. When they stand up for the 4th rak'ah, you sit down in your 3rd rak'ah and you say Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah until they come down, and then you make your last tashahhud with them. Your 2nd tashahhud is their 2nd tashahhud. Your 3rd rak'ah is their 4th rak'ah. And khalas. Afterwards, you make your Salatul Isha. As far as if it's a 2nd Jama'ah or 3rd Jama'ah, so on and so forth, then make your Maghrib first. So it's a very simple, easy solution, inshallah. Allah knows best. This will be our last question, inshallah.
Initials L.A. UK, Mufti, London, UK. Mufti, what is the Islamic ruling on jinn catching and using a human as a vessel to catch them and giving them da'wah to Islam as some brothers do and post it on the internet?
Jinn catching, huh? Allahu Akbar. Tayyib. So basically, they use a human being as like a piece of bait, basically.
I guess so.
Like catching a dragonfly in a net or a butterfly. And then they do what? They tie the person down and force the jinn to be a Muslim? First time I heard about this, jinn catching, mashallah. At the end of the day, you don't have to catch a jinn to give a jinn dawah. And I don't think in 2019, in the times in which we live, that a person should focus on giving the jinn dawah. I don't think that's advisable. I think that there are more than enough human beings that demand your time and attention to give them dawah and to teach them and to maintain them. And in different levels of dawah. Just because a person becomes a Muslim doesn't mean your dawah is done. They have to be taught how to be a Muslim. And they have to be maintained. They need to be reminded. Alright? So different people focus on different things. Alhamdulillah, you see on YouTube and other social media platforms, certain brothers who give dawah to the kuffar, and that's it. That's what they focus on. Other brothers just focus on teaching the Muslims. Some people focus on certain aspects of teaching the Muslims. Teaching Aqidah, teaching fiqh, teaching Arabic, teaching a mixture. There's so much, so many different levels, and there's always a need. There's always a what? A need. And anyone who's involved in dawah, seriously, he knows that there's never ever enough manpower or woman power. There's always someone who's outstretched and someone who's doing something that he shouldn't be doing. So he has his arms are in so many directions. So do we have enough time to say, now we're going to catch a jinn and make them accept Islam and focus on them? Can you give dawah to a jinn? Is that haram? We didn't say that. But I don't think that it's advisable for a person to intentionally focus on a jinn. They have their warners. They have their message. Let that be. If a jinn comes to you, that's one thing. A jinn is in someone, give them dawah, that's what? It's one thing. But you're going outside of your way to hunt down a jinn, like Ghostbusters, right? I wouldn't what? I think that's going to lead to catastrophe and disaster. The jinn, you may try to catch a jinn, and jinn may catch what?
Catch you.
Bust you, huh? لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد.